All right, so get this. ABC News. They're paying former President Trump
Wow.
a hefty sum to settle a lawsuit.
Yeah.
$16 million to be exact.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
For sure.
And it all stems from a defamation lawsuit filed by Trump.
Right.
But this whole thing, it really gets you thinking about the power of words,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to these really sensitive topics.
That's right.
And, I don't know about you, but this case, really, it makes you think about how we define and discuss these types of allegations.
Yeah, I mean, what's fascinating to me here is how this case highlights the difference between legal rulings and what the public believes to be true.
Oh, for sure.
We often use terms casually, but their legal meanings can be much narrower.
Yeah, and you provided us with some articles about this case, and they really get into the weeds of all this stuff.
They do.
It's fascinating stuff.
It is.
So for those of you out there who haven't been following every single detail, let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
Okay? ABC is paying this huge sum, right,
Yeah.
to settle a defamation lawsuit filed by Trump. Because ABC anchor George Stephanopoulos
Yeah.
said on air that Trump had been found liable for rape.
Wow.
And he didn't just say it once, he said it 10 times.
Wow.
In a single broadcast.
In one broadcast.
In one broadcast.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I mean...
That's a lot, to say the least.
And that's where things get tricky.
Right.
Because a jury did find Trump liable for sexual abuse in a civil case that was brought by Eugene Carroll.
Yeah.
But the judge in that case made it very clear. That finding did not meet the specific legal definition of rape under New York law.
That's a critical point.
Yeah.
Because, it's, I think a lot of people use these terms interchangeably, but as this case shows, they have very specific legal meanings.
So Stephanopoulos was using the word rape in a more everyday sense.
Right.
But legally speaking, it wasn't accurate.
Uh-huh.
So do you think that's where ABC got into trouble?
Yeah, I think that's exactly where they ran into problems. Because by using that term, when the legal finding was for a different offense, his statements could be seen as damaging to Trump's reputation.
So what's ABC doing about it now?
Well, I read that. They're putting out a statement. They are also updating their online article to clarify the legal distinction.
Okay.
And they are expressing regret.
Okay, so they're basically saying, oops, are bad.
Yeah, essentially. That's what they're saying.
Does that really set the record straight?
Well, that's a good question. And it makes you wonder, especially after those statements were broadcast repeatedly to a national audience.
Right. It's like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube.
Exactly.
It just brings up this question of how much power words really have.
Yeah.
Like can an oops, are bad, truly undo the damage?
Yeah.
Especially in a case like this.
Well, it's hard to say.
For sure. It makes me think about how we should view media coverage in general. How should we evaluate what we read, what we hear?
Those are great questions. And I think this case really highlights the responsibility of the media to be precise with their language.
Especially when covering sensitive topics.
Absolutely.
And it also reminds us, as consumers of news, to be critical thinkers.
Right.
We can't just take headlines at face value.
No, we have to. We have to dig deeper. We have to understand the nuances.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that the court of public opinion doesn't always align with the court of law.
This reminds me, you sent us information about another case. The one where Trump was found liable for defamation?
Yes, that's right.
And that was also related to Eugene Carroll, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so tell me about that.
So in that case, Carroll sued Trump directly for defamatory statements that he had made about her allegations.
So two separate cases, right?
Yes, two separate cases.
Both involving Trump and Carroll, but dealing with different legal issues. It's really a web of legal battles, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it all ties back to the broader context of Trump's legal history and all the numerous allegations against him.
Yeah, and this intersection of legal proceedings and media coverage and public opinion creates a very complex landscape.
It just seems like a dangerous place.
It is.
For a news organization to be, caught in the middle of this whole charged situation. It makes me think that a lot of newsrooms are probably getting pretty nervous.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Because this case could have a chilling effect on how media outlets report on these kinds of situations in the future.
Oh, for sure.
The fear of litigation might lead to more cautious reporting or even watered down reporting, which isn't ideal for an informed public.
No, it's not. So if I'm listening to all of this, what are the key takeaways?
Well, I think on one level, it's a cautionary tale about the importance of precise language, especially for people in positions of influence. It highlights how a single word, even if unintentionally misused, can have major consequences.
Right.
But on a deeper level, I think it forces us to really grapple with the power of these media narratives and how easily they can blur the lines between legal findings and public perception.
You know, it really gets you thinking, doesn't it?
It does.
About how much we really understand about these cases we hear about on the news.
Yeah.
Are we being critical enough of the information we're consuming?
It's a good question that we all need to ask ourselves.
Yeah, and what does this all mean for our trust in the media? Especially when they're covering these really sensitive and complex legal battles.
Yeah.
I guess that's something for all of you listening to ponder.
It is. I think so, too.
I don't know about you, but this is really heavy stuff.
Yeah, it is. It makes you think.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder where we go from here.
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that one.
No, and that's why we love doing this show.
Me too. I love these deep dives.
Yeah, so many fascinating topics to explore and so many things to think about.
That's for sure. It's a crazy world out there.
It really is. And sometimes it's hard to make sense of it all.
It is.
But that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
To try to help you navigate these complex issues.
Absolutely.
And to give you the tools to think critically about the world around you.
I like that.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See you then.